A Kentucky residential purchase agreement contract legally binds the buyer and seller of a residential property to the terms and conditions of the transaction. It states the purchase price, the financing, closing date, and the rights and responsibilities of both parties. In this video, we'll cover how a residential purchase agreement works, the legal requirements in Kentucky, and what you need to create one. We're eForms, the biggest online database for legal documents. Stick around and we'll tell you where you can find an official residential purchase agreement specific to Kentucky. First, let's review. How does a residential purchase agreement exactly work? When a prospective buyer is interested in purchasing a home, they will make an offer to the seller by presenting a residential purchase agreement, outlining how much they are willing to pay for it, how they're going to finance it, as well as contingencies that must be satisfied by the seller. After reviewing the contract, the seller can either accept, reject, or make a counteroffer. In many cases, it takes some negotiation between the buyer and the seller to be satisfied with all of the aspects of the contract. Once an agreement is met, both parties sign the document, making it legally bound. This means that the agreement can only be terminated if both parties agree to it, or if a legal requirement or contractual contingency is not met. So, what are the legal requirements in Kentucky? Prior to signing the agreement, the seller is legally required to provide the buyer with a full disclosure about the condition of the property. This includes facts regarding the home appliances, electrical system, structural conditions, zoning, and more. In addition, under federal law, the seller must disclose the property's history of lead-based paint exposure if it was built before 1978. Now that we know more about how a residential purchase agreement works and what is legally required, here are some things you should do to make sure the process goes smoothly. Include a mortgage pre-approval letter. A mortgage pre-approval letter is a document from the bank estimating how much it is willing to lend to the buyer based on their credit history, income, debts, and assets. This helps the seller determine whether the buyer is financially credible. Offer an earnest money deposit. An earnest money deposit is a percentage of the offer and provided to the seller as a show of good faith. It is written into the residential purchase agreement and typically delivered when the agreement is signed. Use an addendum to modify or add to the agreement. An addendum is often included with a residential purchase agreement to add to or amend any terms and conditions. It can also detail a contingency which allows either party to opt out of the contract if certain terms are not met. If you are in need of an official Kentucky residential purchase agreement, you can get started by clicking the link here. Hit the subscribe button for more videos that help you simplify the legal process for everything ranging from buying or selling a house to making a will.